cinnamon buns that are good for your buns. Hey everyone, and welcome to Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, the author of Unprocessed, The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss, and Own Your Health. And this is where I show you recipes for healthy, permanent, and sustainable weight loss. This is the first Weight Loss Wednesday of 2022. Happy New Year. This is actually episode 261. It's hard to believe that I have been doing this for 5 years, over 5 years now. We started out doing this as a live show for 1 hour where I'd answer viewer questions live, and then it kind of morphed into a recipe show. So let me know in the chat below what you prefer. Do you like the recipes? Do you like the Q&A? Do you like a combination? Anyway, today it's definitely a recipe from my ebook, which is called A Date with Dessert. You may not know that I have this ebook. It sells on my website for $19.97. But today, for a few more days, you could get this for about 50 cents. And let me explain. I am part of the plant-based bundle. And what a bundle is when a lot of content creators and contributors come together and give their ebooks, their courses, their discount coupons, so that for a very small price of $50, you get over 100 of these products. And most of them are ebooks, a lot of them are courses, and it's just a fabulous deal because you're paying 50 cents or less per product that you would pay much more for. And it only happens once or twice a year, and then it's gone. It's going to be going on for a few more days. I'll put the link below if you'd like to purchase. Now, I can't vouch for every single content of the bundle because I haven't seen it. I can only tell you, you know me, so my stuff is going to be SOS free, but I can assure you that every product is 100% vegan. And a lot of the books that I've looked at are absolutely incredible. So hopefully you will check it out. So this is your chance to get A Date with Dessert for 50 cents instead of $19.97. Even if you have it, I'm sure you don't have the other 99 books, so please consider checking it out. And I am going to do a recipe from the plant-based bundle right now. It's one of my favorites. It's called cinnamon buns. They're good for your buns because back in the day when I was a food addict, I think I still am, albeit in recovery, I used to love Cinnabon. I mean, that smell at the airport, that's no accident, or at the malls, they just kind of pipe it in. Well, Cinnabons, they have like 1,100 calories and 40 grams of fat, much of it saturated. So here is my low-fat version free of refined sugar. Very simple ingredients. These are things I always have in my house, and possibly you do as well. This is just a half a cup of non-dairy milk of your choice. I love to make the milk in the Nutri-Milk. If you haven't seen any of those videos, please watch it. It's incredible. And soaking in the milk, I have 8 dates. I'm using the Deglet Noor dates. They're very easy to find, and they're a little bit dry, so I soak them in advance. And then I have 2 cups of rolled oats. I am gluten-free, but I always have used gluten-free, even before I was, because there's always somebody that is. And then I'm going to add 2 ripe bananas. I would have preferred these a little larger. The reason you see this seeping liquid is because I batch freeze bananas with their peel off so that I will have them for use in recipes, but it's fine if you have just ripe ones. Make sure they're as ripe as possible with lots of black spots. And then my seasonings, a tablespoon of cinnamon and a teaspoon of vanilla powder. Really try not to skimp on ingredients when you're following this way of eating. Yes, good quality is more expensive, but it's so important. Once you've had vanilla powder, it's very hard to go back to using extract. It's just not very good. It either has sugar or glycerin or alcohol, and really you can tell the difference. I would actually rather not put any vanilla in than use extract anymore. And I always use the best cinnamon available, at least in my opinion, from local spicery. This tastes like it has sugar in it. It doesn't, and it's delicious. The recipe calls for optional a half a cup of yellow raisins. I think yellow raisins are better because they have a less raisiny taste. They just are sweeter, and you don't have to use these. There's 2 ways to use them. You can stir them in by hand. This is going to be a very, very thick batter, or you can just put it in the blender. And because I'm too lazy to even stir, I generally just put it in the blender. It's really important for this recipe that you use these non-stick silicone baking pans. This is a muffin pan. It's a little wet because I made a batch to show you in advance. If you use a paper, like a cupcake paper, even it's going to stick. So this is is a requirement for this particular recipe because the batter is very sticky. So I'm putting this in my high-powered blender, and I'm also going to add my raisins here because one time I was doing it was actually a hands-on class, and the person didn't read the recipe correctly and put it in, and I'm like, hey, you know, this is good, it's fine. If you prefer that chewiness of each raisin, then stir it in after you blend. So I'm just going to blend this now. You could see that the batter is very thick. You could actually use this. This is great pancake batter, let me tell you, I've done it. Now, we're going to add, and this sounds like a lot, but this is correct, 2 tablespoons of baking powder and 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. When I put it in, you're gonna see a chemical reaction, you're gonna see a poof, and that is what vegan baking is without eggs. That's baking powder with a P, poof, causes things to rise. Baking soda with an S causes it to spread. If you're SOS free like me, you can get baking powder and baking soda without any added sodium. I find this all the time in the natural food store and or online. So it's been available, I've been using it for over 10 years. So then I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of course, aluminum free as well as sodium free. You can see like the little bubbles are happening. That's the little chemical reaction. We just don't want to add that at first, and then we're going to blend again. It smells really good. It's a very thick batter because I'm trying to get it, you know how like cinnamon buns, they're kind of more chewy, they're not really cake-like? That's what I was trying to recreate. My little trusty scoop here, and I'm going to put it in my silicone baking pan. Now, this will make 12 little muffins, but sometimes I like to put less batter in and make them bigger. That's what I did with the batch that I've already have ready so that I can show you how you can make the optional frosting. So it's really up to you if you like the small ones or the big ones. I know some people like Kenny. Do you guys, how long you've been watching? Remember Kenny from Weight Loss Wednesday? He was one of my volunteers. He didn't like the frosting. He likes them better without, and they're certainly good without. They have a nice chewy texture and they are not overly sweet because let me tell you, eight Deglet Noor dates and even a half a cup of raisins for 8 or 12 servings, it's not a lot. But I do tell you for this, you do need the silicone because otherwise it will stick. It's just too sticky. Just like if you were using it as pancake batter, you would need to use a nonstick pan. So there we have it. Now I am going to put this in a preheated 350-degree oven for 30 minutes. And through the magic of television, I'm going to show you what they look like when they're done. And these are really delicious. Maybe they're more like a cinnamon bun cupcake or muffin, but they do taste like cinnamon buns. So I'm going to show you how to make the optional, but very, very delicious frosting. So for this, we can use the food processor fitted with the S-blade. And we're going to start with 2 cups of Hannah yam flesh. Now, Hannah yams are unparalleled for their consistency and sweetness. This is what they look like. Hannah yams have a beige flesh on the outside, a yellow flesh on the inside. They're often called white sweet potatoes or Jersey sweet potatoes. If you can't find them, the only thing I could say would be a pretty good substitute would be the Murasaki Japanese or Korean. Those are the ones that are white inside with purple. The orange ones, guys, they just don't have a good texture for frosting and they're just not very sweet in my opinion. So do your best to find them. You can often find them online, or if you can't find them in your regular grocery store, here we have them in the regular store, even at the Winco, you can often find them at ethnic markets. They will have them. And so we have 2 cups of that. I batch cook them because I eat them every day for lunch, either hot or air fried. I also freeze them with the peel off. Always peel them when they're hot. It makes it easier to get the flesh off. And I really recommend you roast them. I slow roasted these for about 90 minutes at 400 on a nonstick silicone tray because when you microwave them, they just really don't taste very good. And when you steam them, even in your Instant Pot, they're just very wet. The slow roasting brings out the natural sweetness and caramelization in them. So then these are very sweet. I mean, you could probably just use that as a frosting, but if we wanted a little bit sweeter, we're going to add some date syrup or date paste. I make my own, but if you didn't want to, a really good organic product is date syrup from I Love Date Lady, and I can give you a discount code for this in the show note. It's an excellent product I've been using for years. And here's a newer product you can have. It's called Date Spread, but it works just like date paste. And this is from Wanna Date, and both the ladies that created these products have been on my show many times. So I like to use as little sweetener as possible to get the average person to eat it. So I'm just gonna do a 1/4 cup, and that's usually plenty. This recipe calls for vanilla paste, but vanilla powder, but because this is vanilla date paste, it's already in there, so I'm not going to add that. And then we're going to add as little milk as possible to get a creamy texture. So first I'm not gonna add any milk. I'm just going to drizzle this a little bit while it's running. One of the reasons I love using the Nutrimilk machine, which I don't know why I didn't for this recipe, is you don't have to scrape the sides down. It has that little thing that moves around. So I am just scraping the sides down. So you can see you want it real thick like frosting. But this needs to go a little bit longer to be a little bit creamier. And again, you know, taste it. Very sweet. You know, the Hannah yams are so sweet, they almost don't need anything at all. I'm just gonna process this a little bit longer so that it will get more creamy. And then you can frost it. Just like real frosting. And if you have a pastry bag, you could pipe it. And you can put as much or as little frosting as you like. You could sprinkle a little bit of coconut. I use the reduced fat on top just to make it look pretty. And I'll spend some more time frosting these once I say goodbye to you. So there you have it, cinnamon buns that are good for your buns. You can get it in my Date with Dessert ebook, which you can get for just a few days more for really 50 cents instead of 20 bucks by purchasing the plant-based bundle with about $4,000 worth of product. The link is below. You'll get over 100 ebooks, courses, and coupons. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, and I truly believe you can have both the health and the body that you so richly deserve. And I wish you and your family the happiest, healthiest, and most prosperous new year. Take care. Bye-bye.